They say the fog in Big Sur doesn't just roll in. It watches. And on quiet nights, the trees don't rustle. They breathe. I didn't believe any of that until I stayed at my aunt's cabin. I didn't come back the same. And if you're hearing this, it might already be listening to you. My name is Maya. I grew up in Los Angeles, far from quiet forests and cold coastlines. When my Aunt Clara passed away, I inherited her old cabin in Big Sur. I had never met her. My parents said she moved to the woods to escape the noise. I thought it was just a way to say she wanted peace. I drove up Highway 1 on a Thursday evening. The sky was the color of wet ash. The ocean roared below the cliffs. By the time I reached the dirt road, my phone lost signal. The cabin sat between tall redwoods, covered in moss and thyme. It looked empty, but the door was already unlocked. Inside, the air was cold and smelled like pine and old paper. Dust floated in the dim light. A fireplace sat cold in the corner. A small radio sat on the kitchen counter. I told myself I'd just pack her things, sell the place, and go home. Simple. That first night, the wind picked up. The trees groaned like old bones. I tried to sleep on the couch, but every time I closed my eyes, I heard it. A soft sound, like something breathing against the window. Not heavy, not fast, just steady, like it knew I was awake. I got up and looked out. The fog was thick. Too thick. It moved against the wind. I told myself it was just weather. California coastlines do strange things. I went back to bed. I didn't sleep. Morning came gray and quiet. I started cleaning the cabin. Under the floorboard near the fireplace, I found a leather journal. Aunt Clara's handwriting filled every page. The first half was normal. Grocery lists, weather notes. But then the pages changed. They don't speak in words. They speak in roots. In fog. In the space between heartbeats. If you listen too long, it listens back. I laughed it off. Old people write strange things when they live alone. But then I noticed the carvings. Small marks on the wooden beams. Not random. Patterns. Circles inside triangles. Lines that pointed toward the forest. I took photos. I told myself I'd show them to a historian. That night, the radio turned on by itself. Static filled the room. Then a voice. Faint. Female. It said my name. Maya. I froze. I didn't move. The voice repeated it. 3 times. Then it stopped. I pulled the plug. My hands shook. I told myself it was a power surge. Old wiring. Bad luck. I was wrong. The fog didn't leave. It grew thicker. It wrapped around the cabin like a blanket. I tried to drive out. The dirt road was gone. Not blocked. Just not there. Trees stood where the road should be. My car wouldn't start. I walked back to the cabin, heart pounding, breath white in the cold. That's when I saw the footprints. Muddy, bare, leading from the tree line to the front door. Inside, I checked every room. Empty. But the mud stopped in the middle of the living room floor. Like whoever made them just vanished. I opened the journal again. The last page had one sentence, written in shaky letters. I tried to leave. The forest kept me. If you're reading this, it already chose you. I packed my bag. I didn't care about selling the cabin anymore. I just wanted out. I grabbed my keys, my phone, the journal. I stepped onto the porch. The fog parted just enough to show a narrow path I hadn't seen before. I walked fast, then faster. Then I ran. Branches scratched my arms. The ground felt soft, like wet sponge. Behind me, the cabin door creaked open. I didn't look back. I just kept moving. After 10 minutes, I reached the main road. Cars passed. I waved one down. A truck driver let me in. I cried the whole way to Monterey. I thought I was safe. 3 days later, I unpacked my bag in my LA apartment. I reached for the journal to lock it away. It was gone. In its place sat a small pine cone. And a voice, soft as breath, whispered from the hallway. You left the door open, Maya? I never went back to Big Sur. But some nights, when the marine layer rolls in, my windows fog up from the inside. And if I press my ear to the glass, I can hear it. Steady, patient, breathing. They say California is a place of dreams. But some places don't want you to wake up. If this story made your skin crawl, hit that like button. It helps more people find these stories. Subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss a new nightmare. And tell me in the comments, what's the creepiest place you've ever been? I read every single reply. And remember, some places don't want you to leave. But I'll see you in the next one. Stay curious, stay safe, and don't listen to the fog.